How's your Friday going?
It's not too bad. I got off work, grabbed some cokes, and then had a few rum and cokes leading up to this. I'm sitting pretty
Hell
well.
yeah. Yeah.
How's Friday going for you guys?
Chilling. We're just doing band practice tonight too, so just doing the interim.
Nice.
Yeah.
Eating an inordinate amount of Trader Joe's peanut butter cups right now.
As one does.
Yeah,
Everyone does.
you just set them in front of me.
That's true.
Before we fully start, my only question to the four of you is, do you have anything in front of you that you have not cracked that you would like to do the opening crack with?
Ooh,
Yes, John's got
All
the
right,
shot.
Alright.
that's true.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
Oh, we didn't.
All right.
Didn't think about it. I'm too excited.
I need to start putting it in the emails like ahead of time just to warn people, so you're totally okay. All right. In 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. This time I finally made my way virtually back to Portland, and I'm sitting down with the great Swiss Army wife. How are y'all doing?
What's up?
What's up? Doing good.
Pretty good.
Happy to be here.
Dude, thank you for coming through. We have some fun stuff to talk about, but before we get too far, like I mentioned, y'all are Swiss Army wife. You are an emo punk, twinkling emo from Portland, Oregon. Can you just go around real quick and say who you are and what you do in Swiss Army wife?
I'll start. Yeah, I'm Will. I play guitar and do some vocals here and there.
I'm John. I play bass and I also do some vocals here and there.
I'm Cade. It's having so soon. I'm Cade. I play guitar and also sing sometimes.
And I'm Tim. I play drums.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Scream in the back.
Okay. Sometimes look possessed in music videos. I don't know.
I sold that.
Yeah. We'll get to that probably in a little bit too, but to start out, you guys kicked off 2023. We're just gonna dive right in, like super hard. You released your debut full length, Medium Gnarly, which, like I said before we even fully started the episode, it's super dope. Like, this brings back so many good feelings of like that like mid 2010s like emo revival. I know, like, I've had Kerosene Heights on the episodes, and like between that and then this following right like a month after that, like 2023 is a great year so far.
Heck
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you. Love the Kerosene Heights.
Yeah, I was gonna say shouts out to Kerosene Heights for sure.
So stoked what they're doing.
It was supposed to be like a 2022 record, and we just did not get it done. Which I think it worked out. I think it worked out well. We had the thing like kicking around. We're like, all right.
Yeah, I think when we had the mixes done in like June, we just didn't get on it in time. Yeah, I'm glad that 2023 has been what it has been. It's going pretty well.
For people that have not checked it out, it came out beginning of January. I think like January 6th. Don't quote me on that one.
Yeah,
No, you got it.
Oh no, I'm right. Okay, cool. Tight. But for people that haven't checked out, what are you doing? Like, please go check this out, because 8 songs, and it just, like I said, it's this feel good emo revival sound. And the nice thing with the record too is you kind of showcase different sides of Swiss Army wife, where you have some songs that are in that gritty punkness, and then you kind of get to like Your Bathroom, where it's kind of like slowed down. There's like a little bit less screaming. There's some like backup vocal screaming, but like it just changes up the feel. So it really showcases exactly what the four of you are capable of, and it's like I said, it's a great fucking album.
Thank you.
Thank you. That's definitely something like we wanted to do. Is we all have we all love the genre, but we have a lot of different takes on it, and we have a lot of different, I don't want to say talents, but we have a lot of different talents that work that are different. And so that was like our take on the name, almost like the Swiss Army wife. Like we do it all kind of stuff. Right?
I think for like a genre that has such reputation for being like super homogenous, there are so many different like veins within emo, and I think all of us come from different corners of that. Like if you were to ask each of us our top 3 like influences, there might be like one band that crosses over, but like
yes,
for the most part, yeah, we're just coming from different, but
like all appreciating the genre, but from different like eras or zones, which is fun.
But you definitely nailed it with like the 2010s era. That's, I mean, we like the Algernons and Glockas and stuff like that. Those are huge inspirations for us. And so, yeah, that's definitely that time period.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know we're in 2023 and I record with people like as much as I can, but like my heart is still in those mid 2010s. Like I still listen to the same like free throw EPs on repeat all the fucking time. Like that's my fucking years. Which looking back, like nothing special really happened those years except for like the songs that came out. So it's weird. But I mean it fucking rocks, and like you guys follow up with that so well.
Thank you. Honestly, yearn for the time where like nothing was happening and music was the main focus. Right. Oh my god. Yeah. Holy shit.
So simple.
Like I said, it came out in the beginning of January. We're at this point, at the time of the recording, we're almost 3 months out from it. Like, what's the response been? Because I know I've seen your posts, and you guys are kind of freaking out about some of this stuff.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely been crazier than we expected at all. Like, I mean, we tried. We like really worked on this album. We're really proud of it, but the response was still just like insane. I mean, this was our first album. We didn't know what people would think, and we've gotten like a lot of crazy response from it. So
just like seeing like where like we've come from, like, you know, right before we released the first single back in October, to now it's just like crazy. Like I think we were sitting around like 100 or 200 monthly listeners. And that's not the case anymore, which is just like insane that even like that many people want to check us out. It's fucking cool.
Seriously.
I feel like there's like a huge disconnect now, like in the internet age, with like you're kind of just going about your life and then watching these like ridiculous numbers change on a very small square, and it's like, oh wow, this is like a very strange duality. But at least for me personally, I feel like I was really fortunate to have like the Fantano thing like blew me away. That felt like my first like, oh shit, okay, wow.
That was insane.
Yeah, that was my first like, oh wow, so people like do know about it. It's like it's a little bit now.
Right. Yeah, that was crazy.
That was crazy. Even seeing other people reviewing the album, we're like, I don't know. It's not. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just people were reviewing it, and then also the reviews were, I feel like, pretty on par for the most part. We're like all like, fuck yeah, this is fucking awesome.
Yeah, we
like,
joke like a 6 or 7 out of 10 is like an emo 10 of 10. Yeah, and we're like, oh great, this is great.
Like, oh, you think it's a 6? Fantastic.
But it's like a 6 in the context of like being said in the same breath as like Fall Out Boy with one reviewer. Right. Like, what? Okay, sure, yeah, absolutely.
I'll fucking take it. Like my favorite one that we've seen was this one dude on I don't remember what website. But it was like a 1-sentence review. It was like the Swiss Army Wife's debut album, Medium Gnarly, is the best Mom Jeans album yet. And I was like, fucking love it.
There we go. Absolutely. Or like this other dude like ragged on it for like maybe like 5 paragraphs and went like, but damn, I listened to it 7 times. So I guess like, all right. Hell yeah.
So yeah, response has been crazy. Like, yeah.
We expect nothing, and we're very pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome that so many people like found it. Like, I was gonna bring up the whole Anthony like reviewing it, because I saw that post on your guys' Instagram where first, I mean, today's day and age, I thought it like I had to like when it first popped up, I didn't have the sound on, so I was like, oh, maybe they're just like joking. They just like spliced on their own like album cover.
I thought it was AI generated. I swear. Even after watching the video, people were like, "That still seems fake. Like that seems real."
No, there was
Yeah.
someone who literally did exactly that in our local scene. Like when they released their album last year, who hit me up on Instagram. It's like, yo, I can't believe it actually happened. Like they had done that whole like, oh yeah, Anthony reviewed our album joke thing.
But no, it actually
was-
happened for
yeah,
us, which
it
was
was-
crazy.
And we were making fun of Cade because so Cade's like submitted it to him. It was like this Hail Mary, like, oh yeah, I'll send him an email, like see if he reviews it. And we're like, oh Cade, you're being fucking dumb. That's never gonna happen. Sure enough.
Absolutely.
And then it works.
And like,
So you just gotta shoot the
yeah,
shot.
I
Right.
would have been like crying tears of joy. I'm like on the ground. If he had like put it in the bad tracks, I'd be like, hell yeah, oh my god, thank you.
That was crazy too. The fact that it was in the best tracks, and
Oh
it's
my
like,
God.
and then up next, Skrillex.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like,
Wow.
Who would have thought you would hear that sentence out of someone's mouth? And next, after this track, Skrillex. Like,
right.
who would have
Yeah.
thought?
Yeah, we really want to like. I feel like this momentum now, and like this quote unquote, like we're getting bigger, but we want to utilize that really badly. So like we really want to get out to the rest of the country, because right now we're in like the very West Coast, and so it's tough for us to hit other sides, but we want to like carry this and make it like a, you know, snowball effect, so we can start touring way more, because that's the dream.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's, the duality of like being old enough to recognize like it's such a hard thing to do
Mhm.
full time, but then deep down absolutely wanting to do it full time.
Yeah.
That's I think where most of us are at. We're like, all right.
Long-term financial goal is to be in an emo band.
Right.
Be fully aware of what that means.
Yeah. There we go.
Well, you at least got to do you know, some touring after this record came out. I think it was like in February you guys did what was that, like a week and a half, 10-day run. Like, how were the responses for those shows? Obviously, like, you know, this record's been popping off for a lot of people. Like, what was it for like the live performance?
I was gonna, it was crazy. So we started off on the weekends, so we played Friday, Saturday, Sundays, and
That was like Seattle, Oregon area.
Seattle,
like Washington, so.
Eugene, and
Redding.
Redding, California, which we didn't know what to expect from Redding, California. That was a total shot in the dark.
Someone kind of told us to come out.
Yeah, and we're like,
Okay.
all right. He's like, we really want to see you guys play, and we can set up a show for you. And I'm starting up this. I want to start house shows again in Redding. So it was like a scene revival kind of show.
Oh, nice.
And
What was that venue again? It was
The Holler.
The Holler.
Yeah,
The
shout
Holler
out-
and Redding.
Shout out
The
Olive.
Holler.
all
Yeah,
of them.
any bands going through Reading, hit up Olive of LVP in Rural Jungle. Fucking rules, has great venue, awesome person.
Yeah.
Single-handedly like bootstrap the fucking scene up from nothing. Holy
Seriously.
moly.
Yeah.
I mean, those are the best spots to hit when you're on tour, like the places that you don't expect to like pop off, because then all those kids like never have shows come through. So any show that happens, like they're all gonna come through. They're all gonna have a great
It was
fun.
a total party. Like people were having a blast. It was not like, oh yeah, there's a lot of people there, but they all aren't into it. Like it was a
Right.
fucking fun ass show. So Reading was awesome, Seattle was awesome, and Bend was awesome.
Eugene.
Or Eugene.
Eugene.
Yeah, Eugene. Um,
All awesome.
Which-
shows.
the first two were sold out, which was crazy, which we didn't expect at all. And then
First three, if you count the.
the house. Oh, and then our release show was as well,
Oh,
which
yeah.
is technically part of that.
I suppose that's true. Yeah, then Reading. I mean, like I think they were expecting like maybe like 20 people to show up, and there were at least double that crammed into this like big like living
Living
kitchen room
room,
space. Just like
Fuck
holy
yeah.
Like
cool.
drag the furniture out of.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was sick. I was worried for the ceiling fan, but it survived.
And then but then we had a day off because we could not figure out like a Bay Area show. Everything was falling through. Like we had a San Jose show that got the venue was
got
shut down because the landlord didn't want it to be a venue. So they were just like, hey, no more shows there. So that kind of sucked. So we spent a day in LA, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
We just drove straight down to LA.
Which is like necessary in hindsight, I think.
Yeah,
Like, that
it
day
was
off is
good
very
to
good.
chill.
Mhm.
And then the next day we played the Resident in LA with Callers and Blueberry, who are like the homies that kind of spawned the idea that we can go tour. Like
Mhm.
they were the first band that played with us in Portland on their tour. and they're like, hey, we love you guys. You guys got to play down here. So that was really early in our stages, and we're like, yeah, we're gonna play with these guys. They're both sick bands and awesome people, and
Total sweethearts.
so we played that. We were expecting that show to be crazy, but it was a Tuesday, so it wasn't that hype. It wasn't as hype as it could be. But also, like, some advice for other bands out there is, don't necessarily go to states and think of the biggest city there and go, I'm gonna play there. We're playing LA, we're playing San Diego. Like, talk to the scene there. They're gonna be like, yo, play in Pomona, or yo, play in Palmdale, or play, like, we realize that it's not just about the big city, it's about where the scene is and where, like, people are doing DIY stuff. So
Please trust your friends, trust the bands
Yeah.
you know. But I thought the show was hilarious. I liked that it was the nicest venue, I think, arguably, that we played. Excellent sound, had a setup and like sound check a little while before, and it sounded beautiful, and just had like, it felt like we were getting away with something. Like the green room was extravagant, had like beers and waters out for us, and they're like, yeah, fucking, we'll tear it up for 10 people, 15 people.
Yeah,
This
that
giant
was
venue that
just,
absolutely holds more.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It was a fun show though. I'm glad we did that. Tried out resident.
And yeah,
Yeah.
everywhere we we were able to get to was wonderful.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Phoenix was wonderful.
Phoenix
Oh,
was
Phoenix.
amazing. Phoenix,
Yeah.
the show was at the Underground, which is a sick venue, and I know they do a lot of
The Nile Underground. Yeah.
The
the
Gnarly.
Nile Underground. Well,
Yeah.
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 Anyways, super sick venue. And that show popped off. Celebration Guns is like,
Our first time playing with label mates, which was super cool.
they're so
Like,
sick.
so
They're insane.
Yeah.
Strelitzia's insane. Troubled Minds are super cool. I hung out with Matt from Troubled Minds for like a while. I was probably we went to the bar afterwards after the show, and we just hung out for like a couple hours there.
It's like
and-
the greatest rally humanity has ever seen.
Yeah.
Like we were all like eating pizza at my friend's house that we were staying with, and like fully about to get to bed. And was like, John's like, no, I gotta get out right now.
They're like, oh, we gotta wake up at what? When we
Six.
6
Like
in the morning or
six.
something. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna hit the bar real quick with Matt. Talk,
Hey,
so-
when you're on tour, like that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
But,
Hey, you got up on time. So.
Yeah, I was weird about that. On tour, I was up an hour before we had to be up every day at least. And normally I sleep into like 11, and I don't know what it is, but on tour it's just like I'm just fully wired, ready to go.
Yeah.
So anyways, super cool, and then we crashed. And, no, we didn't crash.
Broke
We broke down. We broke down.
Honestly, it would have been better if we crashed. But
Yeah.
broke down on a Friday at 4:30 in the middle of nowhere.
In the snow.
It
It
was
was
snow, yeah, it was
awful.
snowing. So yeah,
Just outside of the Great Basin, eastern
Yeah.
Nevada.
God.
Not just, it was freezing.
Yeah.
Like it was like 11 degrees, saying like feels like -1 kind of.
Oh my
shit.
God.
It was so
real
cold.
life tumbleweed coming
Yeah.
it was crazy.
For people that are listening and aren't fully sure what we're talking about, your transmission went out in your van on your like what, second to last day of tour.
on our,
Yeah.
on our way up to our last stop.
Mhm.
Yep.
Yeah.
So close. So yeah,
They felt pretty far.
it's honestly quite the story. If you guys want to take the steering wheel at any point, but pretty much broke down at 4:30 on a Friday, had to get towed into the nearest city, which was 45 minutes away from us,
Yeah.
called Ely, Nevada. It's spelled Ely, but it's pronounced Ely, I think that's right. Anyways,
Population like what, like 2,000?
I
Yeah.
forget, but
Yeah.
If that. on a good
just
day.
tiny town. And then yeah, they get us into there. It's now like 6:30, maybe 7 at this point.
That was pretty loud.
They take us to a hotel. This hotel is straight out of a time capsule in the 50s. Like,
God.
it made no sense. The carpeting was weird. Like everyone's smoking cigarettes inside. There's ashtrays everywhere. Like the lobby was connected to the casino, which was connected to a pool.
It was
all
Nevada.
inside.
Everything was connected to a casino.
It didn't make sense. Like it wasn't like, oh, they had a pool area and like it was all
Just like one big lobby.
one lobby.
I
Yeah,
swear,
it
I was like
weird.
sitting in the hot tub on day 2, like the sound of, of gambling machines blasting behind me. It's like, this is the most Twin Peaks I've ever felt in my entire life. I'm gonna die here for
So
sure.
Yeah. Well, and after, because we were there, what, like, it was like 5 nights, 4 days.
No way.
It was something like that. Yeah,
That's disgusting.
it was like, so this town, there's no buses, there's no trains, there's no rental car agencies, there's nothing out of there. The only airport is a cargo exclusive airport.
There's no used car. Well, you couldn't even buy a car that was functioning.
Right, the only
One place.
Yeah, one U-Haul with 2 available
Two trucks on the whole lot. Like,
one of which was gone for a long ass time. The other one got rented out from under us like 3 days in a row.
it was- dude.
Yeah, like me and John are standing in the office, like, here's my card, take my money, let me get the thing. And he's like, it was just rented. It's like, no.
Yeah. It was, I think it was day 2. We like walked to the Albertsons or wherever, and this person's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, y'all broke down. I actually broke down here like a while back, and it was like 2 years ago, and I'm still here." We're like, "Oh my god!" Then I just woke up every night in a cold sweat with that like ringing in my mind. It's like, "Oh my god!"
She literally said, "Oh, I've been stuck here since my transmission failed."
Oh,
I
no.
was like, "What? What is going on? Are we? How long are we gonna be here?" So, but it makes sense. There's like no nearby cities, and if you don't have support or anything like that, like you got to work to fix your car, get a car. You're just stuck there. So
5 hours to
Jeez.
Salt Lake, 5 hours to Boise, 5 hours to Vegas. Like it's just
Yeah.
middle of nowhere.
So we had like plans of U-hauling our stuff to Boise or Salt Lake and then getting a rental there or fixing it there. And then we found out it was going to take a week to fix. So that wasn't worth it. So then we were just going to get a rental car in Boise or Salt Lake and just drive it to Portland with all our gear. And we called Enterprise travel agents and one other Hertz travel agents, and they're like, there's no outward rentals in the state of Idaho or Utah, period. Like
Nowhere in Oregon or Washington was accepting one-way drop-offs because we just had like a huge snowstorm here in Oregon, and so I don't think anybody was renting cars. They were just, full of stock. So like, no, we won't take one-ways.
yes.
So like,
In fairness, Hertz said yes, but for like $2,000 to $3,000 extra because we also didn't want to drop stuff off there. We're like, okay.
Oh, so we had a saint of a friend, one of Tim's best friends, Adam. He came up and drove 12 hours from Portland, picked us up, and then we drove 12 hours back. But it was more like 15 hours.
yeah.
Because he was driving through a snowstorm. Like, he sent me videos. He's like, yeah, at one point I'm going 35 through the mountains in this van, just driving straight through. It was
Oh my
crazy.
god.
couldn't see
Yeah.
the road at some point.
And like
MVP.
the
for
town
sure.
did claim a victim. Unfortunately, our van is still resting there.
Yeah, yeah, we had
Pretty
to
a bummer.
junk it. What did they give you for it, Tim? Like,
$300, and they said they would take care of my bill.
For
Like,
tow.
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that the shop we towed it to was the guy in town who bought all the used cars and stuff. So
They were ready.
yeah, they were ready for us.
He was just like, I'm just gonna wait this out. I'm gonna get this.
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
I don't
Honestly, it
know.
was. You could see, like, I think we all started like, okay, this is not ideal, and then like the mental health of this just like declined slowly. We got more desperate.
Yeah.
Suddenly
We
it
all,
wasn't,
like-
can we get the van out of here? It's like, can we get out of here? Can we
day
get
after,
Yeah.
honestly, day after day of grocery store mac and cheese and bad smash burgers.
Right? At first it wasn't bad. We're all sitting playing Pokemon. Like, this is
Right.
great. Most time I've had to play Pokemon in weeks.
It's true, actually.
And then you realize where you are, and it's so depressing.
And
We just
the-
don't look up a Pokemon.
The
You'll be
only
okay.
things in that town were liquor stores, like straight up liquor store after liquor store. Is like,
From
that's
which we
all-
did shop once,
yeah.
and the beer was expired for like 2 years.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, there was like
And they were like-
sludge at the bottom of it. I was drinking it. I was like, oh, it's got pulp, and then I'm like set in that beer doesn't have pulp.
But like Tim took it back and they gave him attitude. They're like, so like
All our beers expired.
yeah, they're all
Yeah, they're like, this is our daily life. Just fucking deal with it.
what are you guys talking about? You guys drink
Oh,
normal
You're
beer? Like-
you City Slickers, and you're like regular expired beer.
So yeah, that place was a trip, and then we had to call out of that Boise show, obviously, and yeah, we're still working on getting a new van, but the GoFundMe support was unreal that we got, like absolutely blew our minds. We debated doing it, like it's one of those things you never want to get to that point, but it really was like we were in the hole big time, and for us to even be considering going back out there again, like we needed help, and like,
so I could get to work every day because the van was my daily driver, you know.
yeah.
It's really hard sitting there on day 5, but like, okay, I'm also missing work for all of these.
Yeah,
things.
right.
yeah. So in the end, that support was on. Jesus, someone just
Cats are up there causing havoc.
but, yeah, the support was crazy, totally unexpected. Like, yeah, it was just unreal. So we're super thankful, like collectively, for that.
Yeah,
sure.
Like,
some anonymous person at the end of the campaign donated $2,000, which like is absolutely unreal.
we don't know who it was. We
mystery
still don't know.
person,
Like,
whoever you are, if you're listening, holy shit, you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like,
that
there are not
was-
words for how much we appreciate that.
that was like tears to the eyes kind of thing. Like,
Yeah.
you see that, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
is-
I
that's
woke up to
insane.
messages. I'm tagged in the group chat, and I check. It's like, Tim, you're gonna freak out. What? And I'm starting crying as I'm in it. And I was like, what's happening right now? This can't be real.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was dope.
I mean, that's amazing because I think the goal was only 3,000, and then to donate basically 90% of that from one person. Like, yeah, whoever that is, like, major props for doing that and helping you guys out that much.
No, we will owe them forever.
Yes,
That's just-
it's
Pride
crazy.
shows for life.
Yeah.
Pride-
Yeah.
Tell us who you are.
Yeah.
We'll do anything.
yeah.
When you finally got out of that town, though, did you have any thought of like going back to that one lady at the store and being like, "This is your chance. Come with us. We can get you out."
Yeah, I think if we had tried to take more than we brought, the town would have exacted some sort of like
That's probably
spiritual
true.
vengeance.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I do have to shout out Dolores, the deli lady at the grocery store, who served us macaroni and cheese, JoJo's, and chicken like every day for 5 days. Warned us when the sewer started backing up into the water system, when even the hotel didn't know that was happening. Just was so kind. So thank you, Dolores.
Shouts out to Laura.
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Yeah, we should have taken her back.
Yeah.
Just like we'll drop you at the nearest big town, and you'll just be able to get somewhere from there at least.
So we have to go back.
If we go back, our car breaks down again, and we do not get to leave. This is a
No.
lost situation.
Yeah, yeah. You can never go near, like, within the radius of that town. Otherwise, like, it automatically sucks you back in.
It felt that way sometimes. Like coming out of that town, like it's just like flat and empty.
We had 2
no
rescue
escape.
attempts fail before our one was successful,
Right,
which was
yeah.
also wild.
Like it truly felt like something was trying to keep us there.
It felt like a movie. Even the hotel staff was talking like, "Oh, another day, huh?" Like, you're like, "Oh shit!" Like,
The ladies were so happy.
Yeah, the
All
ladies are
around.
so happy you're still here.
Oh my
Like,
God.
oh god, get us out now.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone just smoking cigarettes inside was just crazy to me for some reason. Like, okay, we're like in the 50s. This is just different.
The deep fried cheesecake hit.
That was really good.
That
The
was a
smash burgers weren't good, but the deep
No.
fried cheesecake. Oh man.
They know what they're doing in that department. for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, after all that sadness, though, I know you guys kind of hinted at it already, but you got to play your hometown show, which was also the record release show. I mean, I think that was also, from what I'm understanding, your first hometown show for the year, and then also for the record. Like, how was that show after going through 5 days of hell in this small town?
So the release show actually happened before tour.
Yeah.
We did
Yeah.
like
Okay.
like a week or so ahead of time. But our first show back after tour, that we had, it was this last weekend, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was awesome. And I think it was a good way to like reaffirm like we like playing live shows and I got experience in doing it.
Yeah.
Not at all.
I can enjoy music again. I can enjoy anything again.
Yeah. Played with our homies in Puppy Feet who put on the Seattle show on the tour for us. Exciting, excellent. Shout out Emo Chip Team, Pearl Jasmine. Yeah, Pillbug.
Yeah,
It was wonderful.
Yeah, super fun show. Good way to get back at it.
Right. Hell yeah.
This show though was pretty wild too. We did that. Was it literally a week before
I
tour?
think so. Yeah.
Sold out in like 3 days. We were blown away. It was
Yeah.
so
Wow.
With that being said, like we played a tiny basement kind of thing, which is like our brand. That's kind of like what we like. We have in one of our songs in IT, we talk about playing in a tiny house show and the feeling of that and how what that's meant to us in our emo careers and life, like that's just those moments are awesome. So we wanted to kind of do that. So we did, and it was super cool. So like it sold out super fast, which we still weren't expecting.
The house was so nice. We probably like did that house a little dirty by the amount of people we crammed into it, but they were incredibly accommodating. And just wonderful people. And it felt cool to, despite everything happening, kind of stick with the people we've always known around town and just play shows with them again. Obviously a lot of change is happening, but it feels good to just be among a safe community that feels good and is a bunch of your friends.
Yeah.
When you say like there's a lot of change happening, like has there been like a big change in the scene like recently, or just like compared to past bands to now?
Ooh. I think a little bit. And like I guess this would have been like 2021, 22.
Right as things were starting back post quarantine.
Yeah, Portland had like it kind of had like this weird perfect storm of like its hardcore scene and its emo scene and its like punk scene, indie rock scene, all kind of just tried to get back at the same time, and they all started coming back after the pandemic. And because there's only so few venues, especially DIY, like house-based venues, they all started just kind of piling on top of each other into these bills that were absolutely incredible because everyone from all of these scenes is mixing and meeting one another, which was like beautiful to see. That's where we all, this was when Swiss Army Wife was like just Tim and I and a different member. We all met each other through that scene and then have the lineup we do now through that, which was incredible. And now it's kind of started to, I was going to say like die down, but more just kind of like fracture off into its individual zones again. Like now we have like a more defined emo scene and a more defined hardcore scene again, which is, it's always nice to have those like shared bills. I think having a super good variety is always more fun than a super homogenous scene, just like a homogenous genre. But it's kind of like redefining itself.
Okay. Yeah, it's always interesting to see like how the different scenes are in different cities. Like I'm just in the Midwest. Most of the shows I go to are like just like punk emo shows. And most of the bills for the most part, like even like post pandemic, seem to like stay kind of like in the same like lane where like the hardcore shows were like doing their own thing, or metalcore dudes were doing their own thing. But I mean, it was also the time like during the pandemic, everyone was like, yo, when we come back, mixed bills or nothing, like everyone's fucking playing and it's gonna pop off. So that's awesome that like at least Portland was able to like come together to do those shows. I mean, obviously it's a lot of just everyone trying to get on a show and just like play wherever, but those shows are always so much more fun. I know recently someone that's been on the podcast, they're like a rapper here in Minneapolis, they opened for like a metalcore show and it was fucking sick. And I just really love mixed bill shows rather than just, sitting through the same like pop punk riffs the entire time. Like mix it up.
I think we like fit really well on mixed bill shows. Like we could either be the heaviest band of like a softer show, or the softer band and a hardcore show or something like that, and still we have elements from a lot of these genres, so it's not like would stand out too much. Like I don't know, we've played like a hardcore show at Casa Weon, and I don't think it was crazy at all. Like people were totally into us, and it was just like I don't know. We've played lots of mixed bill shows. I would say most of them are mixed bill shows.
Yeah, I think everything that we have coming up over the next couple weeks is like really like spread out genre wise.
Portland doesn't really have. We were just talking about this. This person on Reddit was asking like, "Hey, what Midwest emo bands are in Portland?" And
I can think of two off the top of my head.
We thought of two, and we play shows a lot. So like we know a lot. There's a few more than two. There's also like
Exciting, Excellent, Big Sword,
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah.
Different
So,
areas.
but it's not. I don't know. We don't have a lot of. It's not very. What's the word for it? It's just there's not that many bands that are still doing it. So
honestly, like a lot of this record was written during the time that scene was coming back. Obviously, beyond like just getting to meet all of y'all and be in a band with you. it was really cool how much that like the rubbing of elbows influenced the writing process, and like definitely made me want to try to get more diverse and more experimental and try different things. Like how much can you shove inside emo before it's like something else? And it was, I think, I don't know, like the variety bills, the mixed bills, the blending community is definitely breeds innovation in that way. And I'm super stoked that Portland is at least able to provide that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when anyone ever thinks about like Portland, they always think about like the music, creativity, and just like not exclusive, but like just like welcoming in general. But like, so that's, I mean, that's awesome that, as an outsider, it's still living up to kind of what we expect of Portland or know of Portland. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, also, I kind of want to jump into a couple other things about the album before we transition. If anyone's like a regular listener to the podcast, everyone knows I love sound clips. Emo bands always provide the best sound clips for their records. And I want to talk about one specifically from CBS at 7. There's the sound clip of the news reporter talking about like the terrible air quality. Obviously, that's happened. I'm guessing it's from one of the past wildfires that has happened. I think it was the bad one in I know they happen very often, but like the one in Oregon that was super bad and getting close. That one was like a couple years ago. If I remember correctly.
That was one of my some of my family had to was displaced by it, so it was getting pretty scary, I think, for a lot of people. And like it was wild seeing like the front page of Reddit, a picture of a town, it was like a UPS truck, I think, and it was just red. It was the middle of the day, but it was just red behind it. I was like, oh, that's that's next to me. That's where I'm like living right now, just waking up and feeling you're smoking a pack on the way to work. And then that was like my first real taste of like the world is dying and I'm watching it happen in front of me. Very cool.
I mean, it fits with the song and goes well with it, but like obviously you guys have gone through that. What was the idea behind using that specific clip for that song?
For me, I think I pushed for it personally. I think the most, probably because I have no grasp of subtlety, and I wanted to make sure people didn't think it was a relationship song. And it was really just about like experiencing the rapid decay of society / the world as we know it on the bigger stage. And I was like, how would we hammer this home? It's like, oh, just literally rip off the news, and that way eventually we can get sued into oblivion by whenever this news station figures out we exist.
Oh, which I have something on that. I gotta say in a minute. But yeah, because the song's about like, it's like literally about like waking up and seeing like the world ending on the news, right?
It's like coming to terms with something ending. And I think it leans pretty relationship-y at first, but then I was like, no, it needs to be like a recognition of this ending. I'm gonna gesture to everything.
Yeah. So. With regard to the sample though, and coming down on us for that, there was this thing that happened a few months ago. Unfortunately, not to us, but like woke up in the morning and first thing I saw on Twitter was like our label tweeting about like emo bands and samples and like lawyers and getting in touch with them about it. And it's like freaking out for hours. We're like, oh God, what if it's us? What if it's CBS? It turns out it was not. It was pictures of Vernon. Yeah. Then the other day I woke up again. As I do at most days, I've opened up Twitter, and so this dude, he like snitch tagged us to like fucking ABC and like the anchor and thing. First of all, congratulations on like just like hearing that clip and being like, oh, that's this guy on this channel in this time slot. I know that. Like that's legitimately very cool. But also, we're trying to fly under the radar.
You think we have money for lawyers?
I almost DM'd him and I was like, to be like, yo, can you like delete that tweet?
Yeah. The cloud is not worth it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't like copyright the news though, right?
That's like we looked into it a little bit, and like I think if they really wanted to ruin our lives, they probably
it's unfortunately a situation where we live in the American justice system, which means if you have enough money to throw at the problem and the other person doesn't, they can just
Just
win.
win, yeah.
And like, it
That's
sounds
true.
like a meme, but yeah, they literally just will set enough dates where they run you out of money until you can't fight back, even if you have fair use or what have you.
To this dude's credit, he wasn't being like, hey, they sue this band. He was like, I love this song, but it bothers me that it's called CBS at 7 and
It's
it's ABC.
Damn,
at
that's what gets
6:30.
us. That's what gets us. I guess we deserve it. We didn't even credit them.
Yeah.
Now,
They were probably gonna play it on their station, and now they're like, oh, well, we can't now.
well, I was just thinking, like, what if on the other hand that guy sees it, he's like, oh no, this is dope, and then he gets in touch and he's like, if you guys ever do a music video, let me know, and
There we go.
we'll do it.
That'd be
There we go.
sick,
Well,
actually.
that's what happened with the Pictures of Vernon. Well, kind of not. That's not what happened, but something similar happened with the Pictures of Vernon one. So apparently, when they sent this email, they were like, "We think this song is really cool, but
but we're gonna see you in oblivion. So sorry. That's fair.
Yeah. Oh, super funny.
Yo, these peanut butter cups are hitting.
Yeah, oh my God.
They're gonna owe me a new thing. I mean, I guess I voluntarily brought
I
this
mean, yeah,
down
I was
and
like,
offered, but
knowing me as a person, and you said it in front, like
Yeah.
within reach of, yeah, I don't know.
I do still have your Ritz bits on tour in a bag
Oh,
upstairs.
you do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't eat those. I knew they were special.
yeah, they're from my partner. Oops. That was. Go ahead.
With this album, you also have 2 music videos out so far. One for Halloween, and the other one for Best Friend. Halloween is, I mean, I loved watching that one. All of you guys just in, ghost sheet costumes, just watching like a reel of all this like montage of stuff going on. But excuse me, the new Best Friend music video is, I mean, it's a one-shot style take throughout. I'm guessing, I think the house that you guys are in right now.
Yeah.
So, there's a little lore for people that are watching the video version of this. I mean, to do it all in a one take, one, mad props, because there's a lot of like, big name productions that could not do that in one take. But it was fun to like follow you around this house, and then I had to definitely rewind at the very end because I was not ready for like, I looked away for like half a second. Next thing I know, you're just getting stabbed to death. I did not notice that they had pulled up the knife at all, and like, overall, like, well done music video. It was great to watch. Both of them were very well done. So if anyone's listening, please go check those out. We'll probably get into some maybe behind the scenes stories here in a little bit, but I just wanted to bring those up, that they 10 out of 10.
Thank you so much. Yeah, Anthony Pantano like referenced Birdman, which I thought was incredible. That our tiny DIY emo music video was connected to like a pretty impressive film.
Yeah, shout out to the person who shot it, Jed Hamilton. If you're Oregon or just Northwest area and want somebody to do a music video for you, he's fucking great. So easy to work with. And yeah, just an incredibly talented filmmaker. So
Yeah.
hit that dude up.
Also, shout out to John from Floral Patterns for suggesting him. So yeah, that was super cool, and that was, I think, what, the third take or something like that.
We did
Or
a couple practice runs and then like 3 like real. And
we were expecting to be here for a long time, and it kind of
110
felt like
degrees.
it
hot
was
here.
so hot.
And like even by take 3, Evan was a little bit too drunk and a little bit too hot.
Yeah.
Like, all right, we have maybe 2 more shots of this. But
Now, was that your original idea, to do like a one take shot through all of that?
that was like with absolutely zero like concept of how difficult that would be, or any like in general like filmmaking knowledge. I was like, that seems like it's fun. Let's do that. And got Jeb, to his credit, was just like, yeah, let's try it. Why not?
He was like, yeah,
All right.
I've always wanted to do something like that. Like, let's make it happen, and
Yeah.
just like plan the whole thing out. Like, the consummate professional. Like, I could, yeah, he's great. Thank you, Jed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if people remember towards the beginning of this episode when I talked about how Tim looks possessed playing drums. It's this music video that there's like a frame right as Kate is gonna go pick up the guitar for the first time. That like you're just like jamming out so hard that I'm like, hell yeah, fuck yes.
It is at every show.
Yeah,
He's
Tim is our stage presence.
Absolutely.
Tim is known for having the best drum faces, like period. Like if you go to a Swiss Army Life show, you watch Tim because Tim's just crazy.
It takes a lot of pressure off me, which I feel like like I like 3 singers, no one can look at me, and then Tim is like fulfilling that for me. Like, it's great.
Every time I bring a new friend out to a show, they're always like you guys were great. Like your drummer is so much fun to watch.
Before we fully transition, I know we kind of talked to the record, we talked a little bit about music videos, and we talked about that tour. Is there anything Swiss Army Wife or Medium Gnarly that you want the people to know about that we might not have covered?
Ooh. Yes. I'll think of it though. It was, I think, I mentioned this in I was talking to another person, but it was developed over such a long period of time that a couple people said it, like it feels like such a collection or like such a kind of like a mismatch of different things being put together, and it absolutely was. It was like made over 3 different lineups over multiple years and kind of ended up being like a best of everything so far, which I think is cool to be able to put out as a debut album at all, and that it like still works so cohesively. I'm stoked on as one of the people who was working on it for a while. It was cool to see like new members being added on and just jumping in and adding to it. Like just felt this like a ball of energy that people kept tossing new things onto, and it still kind of held together, which was cool.
Yeah. Because I mean, John and I joined the band pretty soon before we recorded it. You joined what, September of 21?
Yeah.
And I joined at like in the beginning of November. And then we recorded in May. So it was like very, very early with this lineup.
One thing people I've noticed attribute a lot, it's definitely all 3 of us singing at different points on the record. John does all of the good screams.
So yeah, I want you to know anything. We have 3 different people doing vocals. So if it sounds weirder, it's because it's probably someone else. Like it's probably not. So Cade, for the most part, he's our main vocals.
If it's like somewhat low and somewhat smooth sounding, that's me.
And then if you hear someone yelling like crazy, that's gonna be me. And then
just like beautiful and harmonious, they actually know what they're doing.
Really high as well. So that's "Ite" is one of those songs for us. That was like the first one I feel like that really took off on Spotify, which was just really weird to us because that was where Cade wasn't doing the main vocal. And that was like a very experimental one, I think, for us, or at least for me, it felt like that because it was a lot of the heaviness or like in terms of yelling. And then Will was on the chorus, which Will didn't have any like standalone parts in any of it, right? Besides that. So it was definitely a more experimental song of like what we want to do and what we're gonna be kind of doing in the future as well. So yeah, that was interesting that I kind of took off. But yeah, those are two different vocalists, and we have 3 different vocalists doing stuff. So that's something a lot of people don't know. People think it's just Cade, and they're like, oh,
I love it when they do this. I love it when they do this, but when he does this, it's like all right, cool. I get to feel like, oh no, sorry, bud.
Even like YouTube comments like, oh my gosh, what he does in the verses is so insane. And it's like, well, those are 2 different people in the verses. Like,
I think I was able to identify through like compiling a lot of this information that some people, they like smooth vocals from me, they like screams from you, but when I try to scream, they're like, I gotta stick in my lane.
Who knows? I don't know.
Well, all the new stuff, you're screaming more than ever. So.
I know. Fuck them.
We do what we want.
Yeah. We hear feedback, we accept feedback, we're just going to not utilize it
opposite direction.
And
I mean, since you mentioned new stuff, obviously in my job, my position here on this podcast, I gotta ask. I know it's only been 3 months since this record came out, but what can we expect from Swiss Army Wife going forward?
Oh, we're grinding. Like the new record was coming out, and we already have songs that we're ready to record for our next stuff.
We're doing a split pretty imminently, which is cool.
So right now we're planning a split. It's
gonna be celebration. A lot of people.
Well, I don't know if we whoa. So one guardian to come stab us all.
So yeah, we're planning on doing a split with some cool bands, and then we're also working on a full length, and that's not a promise. Who knows what's gonna happen? But right now we're working on a full length, and I mean, for me, it's just like feels like an evolution. It's just like we listened to it. It wasn't like Medium Gnarly was like, okay, that's all we got kind of thing. It's like we love Medium Gnarly a lot, and I'm already like ready for the next shit. Like it's gonna just be a more, I don't know, it's gonna be us. Like
whatever comes from here on out will be a blend of all four of us influentially contributing like equal amounts, which is cool.
Yeah. There's something I was gonna say in relation to that earlier that I had. Oh my god. We were talking about like the different like elements, like other genres that like we kind of brought in, like the different kind of sounds that are like throughout Medium Gnarly. And I think like something with like the new stuff that we're working on is like incorporating a lot of those different things into each song, rather than kind of each song being its own vessel for whatever Swiss Army Wife is trying to channel during that writing period, into like all of these being from a cohesive, like centralized writing perspective. It's really cool to see like all of our different influences kind of take shape in these songs.
Like every song being created now is just like a Google Drive doc that's being passed around between the four of us like rapidly, and everyone's like tossing stuff onto, which feels way better than, hey, I brought this entirely fully formed thing to band practice. Now y'all are gonna learn it.
Right.
The former feels way better.
One thing that's crazy for our band, I've been in other bands before. I think all of us have been in other bands before. We write so fluidly and so easily. It's actually scary. Like I'll come in with like an idea that I'll vocalize like my bass part. And, like, it's just ridiculous. And they're like, oh, okay, so we're gonna do this. And then boom, and we're like, we have like the framework for a song in like 20 minutes. Like it's crazy. I don't know how to explain it. It sounds unrealistic, but like we get done super fast. And I think it's because for the most part, our minds are kind of on the same wavelength, and we kind of understand what each other wants, or there's minimal pushback because it's like we agree so often. It's just like, okay.
Even disagreements, I think we've gotten to a place as a band where we trust that the group kind of knows like what's best, and it feels much easier to like, okay, well, I'm deferring, even this isn't what I want specifically in this moment. I trust y'all as musicians, and your influences are incredible. So I trust that the finished product's going to be fantastic. So it feels way easier to like step back in that moment, knowing that.
That's true too.
It's cool that we've been able to like build that as quickly as we have to, because like this lineup has been a year and a half. Like we haven't been playing together for that long. It's I haven't even like really thought about that before, but it's cool that like we've been able to establish like that kind of musical trust in that period.
Yeah, absolutely.
Other trust though, I don't know.
It's just the writing process. Like so like a lot of these songs, Cade had a lot of them
kicking around for a while.
Yeah, had kicking, but none of them had leads. And then we got Will in, and
none of them had harmonies, none of them had screaming.
They just none of them had a lot of the things that we came in with. So we really started writing together pretty fast. And Cade, it's kind of crazy because usually when you have a song, you expect it to be a certain way, and you're more dismissive on like outside stuff coming into that song. And like Will's leads, I feel like, make half of those songs. I'm like screaming over stuff that wasn't supposed to have any yelling and whatnot. So it's kind of crazy that Cade was able to just be like, yeah, this is cool. Like I'm gonna be cool with this, I guess. I don't know.
I think it's much easier when it felt like very early on with this lineup. It's like, this is what the band was supposed to be. And it's
I
could not
was
have been
even
without.
uncomfortable like coming in and having the role that I had, just like doing as many vocals, because I heard Swiss Army Wife before I joined the band and was like, this is what Swiss Army Wife sounds like. And I don't know if I sound like Swiss Army Wife, you know?
You do now.
And now, yeah, now it's just like that's different. So yeah, it's been cool.
Yeah. I all I can say is just hearing all of that, I'm super stoked to see what the next songs and iterations are for Swiss Army Wife. Like this record was super tight and super sick, but just hearing this cohesiveness that you guys have, I'm so stoked and I can't wait to see it.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
We're definitely stoked to take the vehicle of this band as far as it will go until the transmission explodes.
Seriously. Yeah.
Well, I mean, like I said, I'm stoked. But we're gonna start to transition here to the later half of this episode. I know you guys have your band practice tonight, so we'll get there at some point, right? This is obviously Beers with Bands. So obviously,
Oh, that was so crisp.
Rip it and rip it.
I try. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes, because I obviously do that for you. But I know you guys are drinking some things in front of you. Can you go through and kind of just say what you're drinking on this fine Friday night?
Yeah. I'll start off. I have a non-alcoholic beer, actually. And it's a non-alcoholic, hazy, juicy IPA by Sam Adams that I got at my work because they were giving out samples. And they're like, John, do you drink? I'm like, yeah. And they gave me a bunch of real, like, regular beers and this one. And I broke out the non-alcoholic beer for this one. So, yeah, that's me.
Now, I got to ask, you say you do drink and you're drinking this non-alcoholic. Does it taste okay? Like, how does it hit right now?
I don't know.
We're gonna lose the sponsorship. We're never gonna pick us up.
So yeah, I don't think it hits. I'm not a Sam Adams fan, to be honest, to start with. So I'm already judging on that. So yeah, sorry, Sam Adams. We're never gonna work with you. But yeah, it's all right. As an IPA, like it's usually one of those that's very high in ABV, so you taste the alcohol a lot in it. And this one's like trying to have the hops, but it's not. It's just not. It just tastes like, it reminds me of, there's this Polar seltzer waters, and they make a Moscow Mule version, and it's a ginger beer pretty much, but it tastes like a Moscow Mule, but there's no alcohol. This kind of tastes like a Polar version of an IPA.
Gross.
Yeah, exactly.
All hops, but no benefit.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone loves that.
So yeah, there's that.
Anytime I move to a place, this feels like a long spiel for a small beer, but anytime I move to a new place, I like to get to know its like local cheapest beer. And I guess it's all over, but like in Phoenix, it was Hams. Hams is my default. Or like when I lived in Idaho, it was PBR, and then moving to Oregon, pub beer cropped up everywhere. So I've been drinking pub beer pretty consistently.
I saw those in the music video, and like, whenever you see like a can with just like bold like lettering like that, I just assumed that it was like, oh, this has got to be like a gimmick. Like it's not like actual beer.
Not real. So pub beer is actually from this brand called 10 Barrel, and 10 Barrel Brewing is out of Bend, Oregon. And now, I mean, they used to be like a tiny microbrewery. Now they're bought by, I'm pretty sure, Anheuser-Busch or one of the big names, and they're huge. We're lucky enough, Tim submitted Swiss Army Wife to a contest of theirs with our song Telecaster, and they're like, dudes, this sounds like Tony Hawk Pro Skater Underground 2. This is sick as hell. You guys won the contest. They hooked us up with so much fucking beer.
300 cans of
a
beer.
merch design. They like printed out 100 shirts for us for free, just gave them to us. And then, like, most importantly, they gave us money to record our first album.
For sure.
Gnarly.
Oh,
So
fuck yeah.
that was insanity, and
The
now
coolest way possible, like next to no strings, just like
no
zero.
string. Yeah, they were just like, hey, you guys win because you sound like Tony Hawk Pro Skater too. Like, we're like, okay, cool, that's awesome. And they haven't had any expectations for us. They had us play a show down there that was like
scumbag ball.
Yeah.
The dirtbag ball was amazing.
it popped off. It was ginormous. It was like we put no work into that. That was like all 10 barrel. We're like, holy shit, this is just unreal. And then we leave with 10 cases, 12 cases of beer, like crazy.
Yeah.
So shouts out 10 barrel. Shouts out Pub Beer.
Yeah. Tim and I are both drinking a Frime Pilsner that I picked up from Trader Joe's earlier today. I'm not much of a beer person, so I think it tastes good, and that's about all I have to say about it. Tim might have a more nuanced opinion.
It's an excellent Pilsner.
There we go.
I love it. My roommate, this is his favorite beer. He drinks it pretty much every day.
I was gonna say Frames from Hood River here in Oregon, and it's like one of the better breweries. Their IPA is like insane. As a Portlander, I have to be into IPAs.
That makes sense. Yeah.
I started out like at 21, drank an IPA. I was like, this is garbage. Like, what the hell? And then, but my best friends loved it, so I kept on drinking them. And now I drink other beer. I'm like, what? Like, this is garbage. I need an IPA. So, yeah.
I think I've not met a person whose first response to IPA hasn't been something along the lines of, they took the worst part of beer and turned it up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but you eventually like that. I promise. You just have to suffer a lot, I guess.
I never came around on it. I can't
Really?
Yeah.
You
Not
just
a
gotta
real hazy one.
You gotta force yourself. It's like
You do have to force
it's
yourself.
like learning how to shotgun. Like you never like start out shotgunning. You're like, oh yeah, that was fucking awesome. You know?
It's like where you have to like push yourself so long to be a fancy wine person. You like study, you drink a lot of it, you eventually can tell the different notes and stuff, and then you're somewhat well regarded. But this is just so you can be cool with other 30-year-olds with beards. It's great.
It's true. It's
The
true.
ultimate social status.
Yeah, honestly, out here, yeah.
I wish I could. Where's my beard at? One day.
And the listeners probably saw this one coming. I'm drinking a good old PBR.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
Respect.
This podcast runs off PBR, and I did start the episode with a rum and coke, just to get right in the mood for it.
Do you start with different mixed drinks for different bands?
Usually no.
Okay.
Usually, so like what my normal routine. This is giving like industry secrets away real quick.
Oh, yeah.
Usually like a half an hour before like I'm about to record with someone, I'll crack like the first beer of whatever I have that I'm gonna drink. So like sometimes if I have Modelo's in the fridge, like I'll start drinking a Modelo like half an hour before the episode starts, and then I'll always make sure to have like a full beer ready to go for that initial crack, and then just finish whatever I started with and kind of move through. It's just been a long week at work, so I was like, I'm just gonna drink some rum and cokes all afternoon until we record. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I hear that.
But enough work talk, I'm here talking to Swiss Army Wife, so this is where we kind of get into the later half of this episode, which is my favorite part of the episode. It's the storytelling part. Basically, like I normally say, these can be stories from your time. These are stories from your time in music, whether they're shows, tours, time recording, music videos. They can be either Swiss Army Wife or anything prior. My normal catchphrase to this is anything horrendous to tremendous or any adjective in between.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Well, we blew all our really good ones.
Cement Factory?
Cement Factory was good. Yeah. That was where the record was named in the place it was recorded, which felt cool. Not named after the place it was recorded. Oh, you're talking about a different. I was picturing. Okay.
Oh no, we didn't. Oh, that's true. Okay, so we have two Cement Factory stories.
More important. Yeah.
There was one. There was a show we played last summer with a few other bands that was in an abandoned cement factory, and that was actually the day we got the mixes back for the album.
Oh yeah.
But that was fucking wild. We had to there was like a hole cut in a chain link fence that we had to climb through and to pull John's 8x10 base cab fridge through this tiny hole, haul this stuff down this long ass gravel drive to this little concrete square that sticks out into the river. There's an abandoned crane that kind of like hangs out over it.
Yeah.
And there were,
Just like I was gonna say, just carrying the gear down there, I was sore afterwards and like
Yeah.
out of breath. I was like,
It was like an 8-minute walk down this bike path. Most people ride their bikes past us and jog, and we're carrying all these instruments.
Yeah.
Like, nothing seen here.
yeah, nothing happening.
I had a moment of this is probably what every mom in an 80s movie thinks of when they think of a punk show, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like people just sitting on this abandoned crane, like watching us play. It's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, that was the scariest fucking part. So first of all, we had to wait until it was dark to start loading stuff in, so like it didn't get like caught and shut down. And then like these kids are out here, they're having a good time, and like I'm happy that people have shows to come out to and all of that. But these kids were like climbing this abandoned crane and like were like visibly intoxicated. And I'm sitting here like, am I gonna watch somebody fall off
that
the
was
crane?
scary.
And
You look up at one point, and they're like, "Oh, there's feet right there," and then you look up again, and they're like at the end of it. You're like, "Dude, it's nighttime. What the
Yeah.
hell?"
Like if you
Jeez.
fall, you die. It was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it
metal
was
rocks
not.
everywhere.
Yeah, it was not like low to the ground or anything. Like these people were sitting watching the show, probably a sick view,
Yeah,
Probably
yeah.
was
Oh my
awesome.
god, yeah, downtown
But, like,
across the river, like
living
shit.
in-
No
Yeah.
security at all. Like these or these, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's not secure at all. You could totally just fall.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
nothing
not
stuff, yeah.
not cool.
We
But,
like advertised ourselves as like the mom friend of the music scene early on, so
Yeah.
it felt very like earned in that moment. I was like, yo, I gotta break your neck.
Yeah.
So-
Somebody was asking us if we had crackers at that show, and like at first we thought they were like talking about drugs.
We're like, what?
We're like,
slang in this
yeah.
No, we don't know. We're
But-
too old for this. What are the drugs they need?
Yeah, I think they were literally like asking for like crackers, and so
We're like,
we haven't
no.
started doing this, but we did talk about like carrying like a
Like
pack of
snacks
saltines.
and-
And like, we was like, yo, I need to like absorb some shit.
I mean, we talked about all carrying like picking our own candy to provide like a mom, and then Will's their favorite candies is Good and Plenty. So I feel like we would not be a
Good.
popular band.
They're
That was
good.
it.
I'm sorry. It's right in the name.
No.
I think you could like the last part makes sense because they're always
Yeah.
there's Yo, not
There's
if I
too
come
many.
through. I'll just demolish lots of those.
God.
I feel like one way we always provide is gear. I feel like we're the band that brings all the gear all the time.
There's,
If
like,
you need
yeah.
something, we got it. And also like why not? I feel like a lot of bands are so stuck up and like don't want to share gear, and it's like this is how we build a community and make shows easy so we don't have to transition upstairs with stuff or like
Right.
whatever. Like
Yeah, for
This-
sure.
It sucks when you like don't know if you're gonna be able to play your set because the changeovers between bands
They're
are
so
that, like,
long,
it's pushing
yeah.
up on the hard out. And so yeah, just like being able to be like, yo, no, you can use our drums or you can use our bass setup or whatever, just to make sure that everybody gets to do what they came out to do and everybody gets to see the
Right.
band they want to see.
Right.
Like,
You know nothing's
Yeah.
gonna happen. Like I've been to a lot of shows they're playing and something happens to the drums just because it's hodgepodge stuff. I love letting people make my drums sing. I enjoy watching others play them, So
Right.
it's just hey, fuck, slap those things up, man.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, on a good day, there are maybe 2 functional drum sets in the city of Portland. It feels
yeah,
like.
that's what it
There was,
is.
like, a
So the
6-month
community is
period.
necessary.
Yeah, there was like a 6-month period where like I swear to God, Tim sponsored every drummer in
Every single
Portland.
one.
Like every show we played, the band was like, oh, like we don't have a drum set. And Tim's
And they
like,
were
"All right, I
organizing
got
the
it."
show. Like if you
Yeah.
weren't on the bill, what was your backup plan?
Like,
so
no
weird.
shade.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
That's actually the truth of it. It's like half the time it's people organizing the show. They're like, yo, so we don't have a drum set for the show. So who's gonna bring one? We're like, oh, we got you. Same with my bass cab though. I feel like
Yeah.
that's been tossed around.
I'm
One
sure
day,
your presence alone has increased the bass volume of Portland
Yeah.
in general by like a couple
Absolutely.
dB for sure. And I like we rag on it, but like completely happy. It's the nicest thing ever to be able to provide something back to a scene that's
Oh,
been
yeah.
so welcoming and so nice.
Absolutely.
Like,
Like,
yeah.
I think like we're like a little bit older than a lot of people in our scene as well, which I think has allowed us to like have time to accumulate gear and also like have like jobs that allow us to be able to have gear that is something that we can like let others use and not have to worry about it like
Yeah.
dying. So being able to like just like be like, yeah, like we got you, like never gonna like have hard feelings.
Oh, for
No
sure.
doubt.
Yeah, we're
That, like,
exactly. It's definitely not something that it's not annoying. It's just it's the truth of it. Like
Yeah,
it's just
yeah,
we're always given our gear, but we always volunteered as well. Like because yeah, why not?
It's a little annoying when I lend my guitar to someone and they fucking shred. And I'm like, well, damn, dude. Like, I couldn't make it do that.
It's like you didn't have to do. Yeah, you didn't have to do that.
Like, and it's happened before a few times for sure. God.
No, but kind of bouncing off what you guys are saying, like it does add a whole other sense of like community when everyone's just like, no, like we'll just backline, or we'll either backline to make it easy, or you know what, fuck it, Mike. I hauled this fucking 8x12 or 8x10 up here anyways. Everyone just fucking use it because I'm not going to carry it off and on the stage.
Exactly.
And also, you know, from the times I book shows, like it's a promoter's like wet dream where everyone's like, oh, we're just going to use all the same gear and just make those changeovers just like so seamless.
That is something I got to give props to a lot of people who are booking shows in Portland right now. It's like that's one of the first questions they ask is like, all right, what's the backline situation? Like, how do we get this going? Because like, oh my God, it makes life so much easier for everybody. Not to work at all that.
Just take breakables down for drums. You don't have to take all the drums. Like, because as soon as I'm done, you'll see me. I'm like, I get my stuff off the stage. You know,
Right.
we get involved in drums. Bruh.
Yeah.
This is, I think, like, I can't believe we haven't shouted it out before now, but like out of all the scenes I've been a part of in the various cities I've lived in, Portland has by far the most organized and safe and responsible DIY scene I have encountered. Most of it right now being run by JJ from Gloomhouse, which is a now defunct building that used to be literally a venue, but now Gloomhouse is spiritually this kind of like just safe booking community where they always strive to honestly put on incredible shows, A, but then B, make sure everyone's safe, make sure like the substances there are kept to a minimum if they're there at all.
Yeah.
And that everyone is like safe and organized and it's not going to get rolled, and it's just like an incredibly welcoming and safe thing. And it's like absolutely, we joke about the crane show, but most shows feel so safe and easy that I'm not worried about it at all.
Yeah. Well, JJ was like how you two got like you're in the Portland scene, right? Like he was playing in a band called Subpar at the time, and these two jumped on a bill at some point long before I joined. But
yeah, JJ's like ethos directly, I feel like aligns with ours, where like the shows that they're putting on are the exact shows that we feel passionate about playing and like the kind of community we want to provide with our music. So
exactly,
we've played Gloomhouse. He showed us like last year how many times bands have played Gloomhouse shows, and we were number 2 with I think 13 or 14 shows just with Gloomhouse last year. So yeah, so we like Gloomhouse a lot.
Absolutely.
We used to shout like dedicate I to JJ every time we played it.
Yeah,
it was written about Gloomhouse.
Definitely.
It was written for Gloomhouse.
Yeah.
Every time I'm there, I'm just like, this driveway, the garage. I was there earlier today, and as I'm backing in the drive, I'm like, I missed Gloomhouse, man.
The Gloomhouse shows we played though were just so welcoming, and just also like it's all the stuff that you grew up watching on YouTube, or at least we grew up watching on YouTube, and we're like, dude, I want to play this shit. Like, I want to do this one time. Like, looks amazing, or I wish I was there, or stuff like that. And yeah,
Gloomhouse
was that for us and for loads of other bands, where people came out just to have fun and listen to music. And like, it didn't feel like, oh, I'm gonna go out and support this band. It was like, let's go hang out and listen to music. And everyone just popped off, and like, we definitely got to have some of the best experiences like playing Gloomhouse shows. Like I could retire, you know, with those shows. Like I'm fine. We have a couple of them recorded. I'm like, I'm good to go. You know,
there's one on our YouTube channel that's it's one of the
New Best Friend.
Playing New Best Friend at Gloomhouse.
Before we even wrote the 16, 17.
One of the early versions of it. But like that's like one of those shows where it's like all these people just like crammed into this garage. I don't know if it was this show or one of the ones around that, but like there was one around that period of time where they literally had 250 people. Like
it was like Growing Pains, Chainsaw Girl, us, and there was
Lonefer Cemetery.
Close.
Was it called?
It was Growing Pains, Simpleton, and Us.
Oh, you're right. I was wrong.
And then there was Chainsaw, Lonefer, Us, and Common Girl.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, you're right.
Both those shows were insane.
Yeah, like those are the ones where like you see the video and it's like, oh yeah, this is like the like legendary house show video on YouTube kind of thing. Like it's just packed. Like it's like these bands that are like sloppy but like are just having an amazing time and like like so affirming. It's like, oh yeah, like this is the shit that I want to be doing. have like I think one of JJ's roommates, I never got their name, would like dress up like as like grandma, Nana, and like bring like fresh baked cookies around
it
and
was
on like a
insane.
tray.
Just
And hot cocoa, like it was, this for
like
free.
chain smoking though, so it
Yeah.
wasn't all on brand.
It was so good. Everything, and they set up a fire out like that. Yeah, Gloomhouse shows were actually the
Ben.
total shit.
I think about Ben. Yeah, Ben was there.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah,
it got
yeah.
shut down because they popped off too hard, and the neighbors did not like that. And
They popped off pretty hard and repeatedly.
Yeah,
So-
and
Which is constant war.
Also,
DIY
like,
and
for the
wow.
most part, people are very respectful, but a lot of the times they don't realize like this is how venues get shut down is when you're a dick and you're being disrespectful to the venue, and it's
You're in the
like
neighbor's yard.
you're in the
that was
neighbor's
it.
yard, like peeing or whatever. Like they're not gonna be stoked about that. You gotta realize that like this is. It's not like some big corporate conglomerate that's running this. Like this is
Yeah.
JJ in his house. Like you're fucking this up. So
It's hard.
Yeah,
I feel
it
like
sucks.
scenes do that. Like it definitely goes through. It was the moment like suddenly these shows are starting to hit like the Portland Times and stuff, and that's when they get too big, and it kind of like has to get cut down a little. Like cuts it. Obviously, when places get rolled, it like pulls the scene back a little bit back in the underground because it started to get like too big for these venues, and there was no
Yeah.
place for it to go at that point.
I guess our other concrete factory story
Yes.
to move back around to
Oh
like
my
15 minutes
God.
ago.
Full circle.
Yeah.
exactly.
The where we recorded Medium Gnarly is at a studio called Trash Treasury downtown. That is underneath the old Portland cement factory, which is also no longer an active cement factory. But that place it's fucking cool.
A lot of the cement's still there, which is cool.
The cement, yeah, they kept the cement, which was very nice of them. But awesome studio. It's run by this dude Clayton, who's great to work with. Mo Troper, if anybody's familiar with Mo Troper, is an engineer there. Very like Twin Peaks vibes in there. Helps by the fact that they have a Laura Palmer portrait in like the library.
Yeah.
There was I think it was the first day we were there. We walk in and we see that, and I'm like, I have like a shirt that's like the same, like Laura Palmer.
The exact
Hang on.
same
Same.
picture.
Yeah.
Like literally the same. We're like, wait,
to be.
Yeah, hang on.
Had a
Yeah.
wonderful experience there. And I think it was on like guitar tone testing on day like 2. We recorded the entire thing in like what 3 days,
Yeah.
which was a nightmare in retrospect. We didn't know what we were getting into. We were just like, all right, it'll be fine.
Even though it was only 19 minutes of an
Yeah, it
album.
was.
Well, actually,
We recorded another 2 songs. So
Yeah.
$40 in Cactus that we put out back in September and October of last year. Those were originally going to be on Medium Gnarly as well. We recorded them at the same time. Like that little blast of feedback at the end of $40 is supposed to be the transition into Halloween.
If you play them together, they will perfectly sync up.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which
but
sucks that we couldn't. We didn't.
That one was me. I led the charge on that one. I had like a miniature existential crisis about like, no, it's just what the band sounds like now. It's like they were older songs. And I like wanted them to be separate and have like more of a new crop, be a new crop, and like
it was the right call. Like 10,
I like-
10 songs with like 3 of them being ones that we had already released before. Like even if they're new versions of that, like that felt like a lot.
Yeah.
I think that releasing those ahead of the like starting to do the singles for the album kind of like reminded the algorithm
Oh my
that we
God,
existed, and kind of gave us a little bit of a bump there. It also
Which,
reminded like our
honestly,
people that we exist.
shouts out to the algorithm.
My man,
I-
the
algorithm man for sure.
I don't know what is going on right now, but the algorithm's the homie, and it's been just
The
like,
person at Spotify who put us on the emo right now playlist and has maintained us on the emo right now
Yeah.
playlist. We have at least one person at Spotify who is looking out for sure. Thank you,
the
Spotify.
emo right now playlist is like a fraction of what the dude at the algorithm is doing.
the algorithm.
That guy is insane, and I don't know why he really likes us. We had like an amazing Fantano push, and we understood it was like, yeah, Fantano shouted us out. Of course, this is gonna happen. And then we died, and then we started dropping off, and we're like, all right, yeah, of course,
Makes
this
sense,
makes sense. And we weren't shocked at all. Of course, watching the numbers go down, you're like, shit. Here it goes. But then all of a sudden, right back at it, Mr. Algorithm picks us up and just fucking takes us. So I don't know what's going on right now, but it's awesome, and it makes us want to like keep on keeping on, like doing stuff, because we want to carry on momentum and get to the other side of, I don't know. We have a lot of goals.
This band again as a vehicle has gone so much further than I anticipated it being. I feel like we're fully on the bonus level right now. Anything beyond this point is incredible.
Just beyond as we were preparing to record the album, maybe it was shortly after we recorded the album, we kind of had like a talk about like what are our goals as a band, like what does like success quote unquote mean to us as a band. Like what we can do is like making music that we want to make and like playing shows like it's some around the country or around wherever with our friends. And that's like we've done that. We wrote and recorded songs that we love. We got to play with a bunch of our friends all over the West Coast. So like everything at this point is gravy. It's just like like we've done what we wanted to do. So now we can do more of that.
How long we get to do it for.
So cool.
But we want to do more of that. You know, it's like now we've gotten to do it, and it's like let's keep doing this.
I think the biggest thing for me beyond all the extras, I get to tell my mom, like, hey mom, look, I'm a musician. A little bit. She mostly says that's cool. We're
on track to make about $30 streaming.
Yeah.
So
is that where we're at right now?
No, so the we're like on track right now to hit 100,000 streams on the album total, like around the 3-month mark, which is crazy. Like, I never would have expected to see that.
No.
And the average Spotify stream is worth about a third of a cent.
Will works for CD Baby, so they have a lot of good intel.
My day job is royalty processing, so I know how much people pay. But so the average Spotify stream is like a third of a cent, so 100,000 streams is like $300, which is still absurdly low.
Well, I mean, as someone that has been around music a lot and yourself, you understand how much it takes to make an album. Like, so
I'm sure Spotify knows, it just doesn't care.
Yeah,
but it's just hilarious. Yeah. So we're not rolling in it, even though tour was pretty awesome until it wasn't.
Yeah, it was surprising. We did not expect to be able to break even on tour. I mean, we were on track to like profit until we weren't. But,
we were not. Our shirts sold so fast. Our new design, we almost sold out in the first couple shows. Like, what the fuck
we had like
happening?
4 of those.
It was pretty crazy. That was one thing I've always said. Like, I love the reason I'm in a band is to play shows, but more importantly, like I've gone on tours that were just shot, and I think everyone does do that, and that's part of the learning experience. But I want to go on tours to people that are there to see me, kind of thing. So people that want, it's not just like other bands and stuff. And we got to do that. That was like, we met people that were like, oh my gosh, like we've been listening to you for however long, and we're so stoked to see you. And
there's at least one person every town who was like incredibly stoked to meet us. We were incredibly stoked. Like if the show was just them showing up and being like, hey,
exactly.
I've been a fan of y'all, stoked to meet you. Exactly. That's everything.
That's
for me.
just
it's
one.
Like, cool.
Yeah.
People
so
singing our
wild.
songs back to us.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, what?
That's
was happening?
crazy.
How do you know the words to this?
I barely know the words to this. I forget like what the show.
Singing something entirely
different. Oh, there is a famous misheard lyric that makes me really happy. I'm sure I'm gonna like obviously buoy its popularity now, but the song "No More Drugs," there's a lyric about throwing a rock down a well, and everyone else in the band thought it was throwing a rock down at will. It's just fighting.
First of all, I'm taller than you, so you can't throw anything.
Okay, well, I'm gonna buy a fucking step ladder. So now the lyric is changing. You know what?
That and John and I both thought. I don't know, were you also on this train? The "Say to Me" train on CBS. We all thought that the chorus of CBS was "Say to Me" instead of "You see the end."
Thank you for saying that, because I did forget in the moment
what
the lyric was.
But even like as we were like doing backing vocals, the first like month or two, and I was singing the harmony on that, I was you say to me.
We all thought it was "Say to Me," and even if you still listen to it and you know what it still sounds like "Say to Me." Like, it's just, but I thought that one of the funniest experiences that I've never had before is singing your own song and having someone up front screaming the wrong lyrics.
Yeah.
And
It's
really
hard.
loudly.
It's hard to concentrate when someone's just like totally butchering the lyrics, and you're like,
or just like complete nonsense.
it was just nonsense, just screaming how I sound like. But that was really
huge compliment
that was fun.
still. First of all,
Yeah,
like,
I was
you put in
stoked
the
about
effort,
it.
and that's everything.
I want someone to take my mic or to scream and like. If you could take my mic every set, I would not care.
I want
would
someone to take my
love
position in the band.
Yeah.
Seriously, take my bass, take my mic.
That was something that happened in Reading. That was fucking awesome. Is Olive
Oh,
from Rural Jungle and LVP, who was putting on the show, jumped on some guest vocals on New Best Friend.
That was sweet.
That was so
Beautiful.
much fucking fun. Having to jump up and just like just the energy like that like ballooned at that moment. Like guest vocals are always a good idea. Bands, if you're against guest vocals, fucking don't be. It's so good.
That's weird. I
Even
don't
if
know
it's
why I wouldn't.
like a Taylor Swift on stage and someone clamors on stage like
Yeah.
sweating and panting, that's gonna be a better experience for me, the onlooker, than Taylor Swift continuing.
Yeah.
John's a big horse fan.
Yes.
Oh, that's
So,
true.
the hauler in Reading, it's a house, as one might expect. There's also horses there. There's like a
Yeah,
big
so
like
like a
horse
ranch.
corral.
It's like a farm.
Yeah, it's like
It's
a
like a
ranch.
farm. Yeah,
Yeah.
ranch is better.
So we rolled up there and we had no idea what to expect. And like first thing we see are like these horses in this pasture, including a mini horse, not a mini horse.
Yeah, they wanted it known.
It was like a full on mini horse. So we pulled the van up. We go say hi, and we're just hanging out and like look over and John's just like gazing off into the pasture, just like fully engrossed in
I
these horses.
Felt at home and felt one with them.
The horse cared for you.
They were just vibing.
Yeah.
It was like,
That's
so-
kind of their only option.
That's I wish that was my only option.
Yeah.
I could just be vibing the entire time. That's what I try to do.
Yep.
That's always trying to be my answer if you're asking, like, what are you doing? Just
Vibing.
vibing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Shout out Worm too.
Oh,
Worm. There was a dog named Worm there, which also ruled.
Shout out Worm.
Other quick things.
Uh,
Kate, what are you at now? Like 18-0 at Pokemon?
I was on a journey. This is like we all went on a journey, obviously, but I was on a personal journey to become a Pokemon master. And the fucking journey stops with Will. It began and ended with Will. It was wild. I was trying to like build a competitive team the entire like trip. Anytime I wasn't driving, I was Pokemon, like playing Pokemon Violet, Scarlet, actually, and trained my team this entire time, and then just completely got obliterated over and over. I'm surprised you didn't get bored. Just win. There's not a comic book on this. But so I like played Will forever and just lost repeatedly every time and in spectacular ways, and almost like got worse somehow.
As someone that games, I feel like I know a lot of friends that have played Pokemon and been into Pokemon. Will trumps all those friends. Like
Can I
by far.
say?
I
That's
play
for
Pokemon. I play a hella Pokemon. Like I get it. And then there's another level higher than me, and then there's another level higher than that, and then there's just Will.
Yeah.
Like
I can't confirm because I went back and I started
That's
playing
just
regular
crazy.
online competitive and was doing fantastic. So whenever the Pokemon League exists, Will is the enlightened monk on top of the map.
I don't even play online competitive.
You should get in there.
I should. I don't know. It started young. My parents used to they would see me play with like Pokemon.
Watch
all the
Pokemon.
time. Play with Pokemon cards. And they'd be like, I wonder how much they know. And they would like hold the Pokemon card and like cover the name and like the moves and be like, what are we covering up? And apparently I got it like every time.
Wild.
So this is ingrained in me. So moral here. If you are catching us on tour, we will have our Switches with us. If you want to play Pokemon,
And lose
play
horribly.
Pokemon. We'll challenge Cade first for a warm-up match. And then if you
Yeah,
beat
you have to beat Kane to get to Will.
There we go. Yeah.
Or if you just have a random Pokemon question, will first say, "Oh, I'm not sure,"
Encyclopedic.
and then he'll tell you the answer right after that.
The internet, obviously, when you're touring, like access to cellular data is sporadic, but Will is a constant source of
It was
information.
crazy. They just know. Like it was insane.
Yeah.
Like some random ass fact about Pokemon.
Also, Smash Bros. We're ready to play in Smash too.
Yeah, Army Amphibians, watch out. We're coming back for you for the second half of that tournament.
Yeah, actually, yes.
Yeah. We started playing a Smash tournament with Army Amphibians. We were staying at their house when we came through San Diego. And they were getting wrecked. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It was not going so well for our Froggy boys.
Yeah. That was the hardest choke of my career was
Oh,
losing
no.
to you with the fucking meat sword fighter. God
As
damn
good
it.
as I am at Pokemon, I am inversely as good. So, bad. I'm really bad at Smash.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at Smash.
And like when we were in the
But-
car, I beat you
Yes,
consistently.
I mean, as anyone would, I'm very bad. But in this particular instance, I wiped the floor with you.
This was
That
a
was so
premeditated and conceited effort to destroy my confidence in winning it. Traded it the entire trip.
That's all I got.
I think that's all I have to take.
That's all we got.
When I like one of the last tours I did, all the dudes played Yu-Gi-Oh in the back of the van. So I just be on like a long haul drive, and all I hear is like just them just like slamming down cards the entire time.
This is
activated my trap card.
If I can drive in and you just hear like Fred, John, Rickroll, and Cade in some Smash Bros. How are you even doing this? You're under the map right now.
Yeah. Oh my yeah, it wasn't the loss, it was the disrespect. God. And if I can come out and say Swiss Army Wife is a Magic the Gathering band.
Oh,
I mean, you're a Magic the Gathering member. I'm like at 15% Magic
There we
the
go.
Gathering member. I own cards, and that's about where it ends.
It's true. This is not a band.
actually,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say one final thing, like the more you know kind of thing. Our album cover is a collage of like things we all like. So
Okay.
that's why there's a basketball player on there. I'm a huge basketball fan, love NBA, like so. And I want to shout out Origami Angel because they also seem to really like basketball and NBA.
Spiritual connection.
Like I'm like,
Ryland,
yo,
if you're listening.
yeah, right. I'm like, let's bring NBA culture to emo because I've grown up with NBA. And
Yeah, I
all that
think
shit,
emo
so.
has no like there are all these bands out here naming themselves after sports, and it's like yeah.
Like I did want it's nice that you bring
Oh,
up
yeah, I
the
gotta
album
keep
artwork. Because I wanted to bring that up as well. Like for the singles that you released for the album, instead of doing like separate single artworks for each song, you just did like different squares off the full album artwork.
Yeah.
Which was really cool to like once you put them together, like obviously like it all comes together for the full album artwork, and I thought that was just very well done. Obviously like the album artwork is just a giant collage of everything you guys are into. And because I was trying to figure out before we fully started tonight of like, what's like the theme in this like artwork, because there's just so much going on that like you see kind of like a theme, like you see like some like samurai, you see some like shooting, so it's like, oh, this is fighting, but then yeah, there's the basketball player, and it's like that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't tie in. Yeah.
It's definitely one of those, like the more you look at it, you're like, oh crap, there's that too. Like I didn't see that at all. Like even there's, I don't know if people know, but there's the medium Gnarly that's written in the crossword puzzle.
That's true.
And
It's cut off slightly, but
so it's cut off, but it says like Gnarly pretty much. And that's because we like crossword puzzles. Whose idea was that? Was it yours?
I like crossword puzzles.
And I do as well.
Not
I-
good.
I'm my like after we like burn out a game and we're like, we don't feel like gaming anymore, my Discord and I will just play crossword puzzles. And it's like fantastic.
And so like
Like-
what? Oh,
Oh,
you gotta do
I
it
was gonna
too.
say, like, I think like the concept on like the album artwork came down to like, what if you just like took like an ice cream scoop to the brain of like a kid growing up in the late 90s, early 2000s, and then just like splattered that on a page. Like that's what we were going for, and the person that we got to do it did just like an awesome job. That was like pass number one. I think we changed like one thing, which was literally removing a speech bubble and one character because we couldn't have two wizards.
It was
Taking
based
away
on
too
a
much from the
poster.
other wizard.
Yeah, the original
Okay.
concept was based on a poster from a show that we played
Right.
a while
Oh,
back
yeah.
with Candy Picnic, who was the original inspiration for it, was that collage style. But for me, adding on to what Will said, the concept, like the album art was just kind of a reflection of the chaotic combination of stuff that made up the first record, like all the friendships, all of the people we met, the community building, just like a giant group think of all the things we like and care about. Kind of like this album was kind of a giant collection of a period of time. So it was cool to have the art reflect the songs, and the songs reflect that period of time.
No, yeah, Kate, like how you're going, like mentioning like how they both reflect off each other. It really shows through. Like I mentioned, this album has been super great to listen to. I'm super stoked and happy for the four of you. finally putting it out, and then I really am stoked to see what the next iteration of Swiss Army Wife is going to be. Sorry, I'm also thinking of like one like still thinking ahead. Before like I fully end, I have one last question for you guys. Obviously, Swiss Army Wife is a play on Swiss Army Knife, where you want to be prepared for any situation, be ready for any situation. What would you say for each of you is like the one thing that you bring to the table for Swiss Army Wife that makes it like on par or ready to go?
That's a good one.
Oh, no.
It's like, what do we each individually bring to the band that like makes?
Yep.
Okay. For me, a short attention span and a desire to cram as many different things, like sick riffs, into a song as possible. Like anytime you see a sub 2-minute song on the record, I've probably pushed for it.
I think for me, it's working from home, thus allowing me to have zero supervision and play guitar all day when I'm supposed to do my actual job, and come up with a bunch of riffs and spam the group chat with them. Yeah.
I would say for me, it's like energy a lot, like just whether it's live energy or just, I don't know, just in songwriting, or I feel like I don't know. Energy is kind of how I would say with that.
I've heard you in a band practice or in the creation of a new song at multiple different points say like, but how can we make it bang more?
Yeah.
Like I always have something random that the band needs. You name it. I resell part time.
Oh my
I have everything, man. I'm a bit of a hoarder. I've got about 50 drum sets. I shouldn't say that out loud, but yeah, I've got a lot of things.
The true Swiss Army Wife.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, like also the handyman that literally is like,
oh my god,
ready for anything, and like, oh, I work that job.
Yeah,
Like,
the
oh,
only job he hasn't done are dentist and lawyer.
Next though.
There's still time.
There's still time. You're still young.
yeah, for sure.
Fuck yeah. It's always good that you're all able to bring something kind of like different to the table and form this cohesive bond between the four of you. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or Swiss Army Wife in general, where can they find it?
reallyradrecords.com. That's our record label. Shout out to Guardian Ollie, who've been fucking awesome to work with. But,
So sick.
all of our music, some shirts, tapes, CDs can all be found there. Also on our Bandcamp, but if you can get from Really Rad,
I believe it's just
Bandcamp
donations
takes a
too.
cut.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the album is up for donation for like pay what you want on Bandcamp. So pay what you want. We have shirts that aren't available online at our shows. So if you're in the Pacific Northwest and you want a shirt, but you don't like the ones online, come to a show. 1, we're cool and we play nice music. 2, we have shirts, so you can buy one there. And stickers.
No,
And
but like
coasters.
seriously,
And coasters.
we're really cool.
Yeah, we're good. We play a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah, we play. Yeah. I mean, what takes you down further on the social ladder? Magic the Gathering or Pokemon? I think it's
Magic
gotta
the
be
Gathering.
okay.
It's gotta be Magic the
I think
Gathering.
that that's the
Never
truth.
down.
You don't have to like agree with it immediately. I saw like a Twitter post a while back that was like, everyone on emo band could be dressing in tight pants and with cool hair like the early 2000s, but every modern emo band dresses like a professional Magic the Gathering player. That's why the scene is dying.
Oh,
Uh,
Why it's so smelly.
And on that note, I want to give like a really big thank you to the four of you for taking the time out of your Friday, sit down with me, talk Swiss Army Wife and everything else you have going on. I always really appreciate that anyone takes the time to sit down and just bullshit over a few beers.
Hell yeah. Thank you for having us. This was super fun.
Well, whenever the next EP or next LP comes out, we'll make sure to try and do this again for sure.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
totally.
Sounds good.
For everyone listening, make sure you go hit follow them on all the socials. If you found this episode on either Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or you're watching on YouTube and you get to see all their lovely faces like I get to to see tonight. Make sure you go follow them, check out the music videos, check out Medium Gnarly, and just stay up to date with everything they have going on. Be ready for that possible full length that's coming, and be ready for that split that we kind of heard about but didn't really fully hear. Ooh, I don't know what's going on. But I mean, I'm really stoked for 2023. Like I said, emo revival is fully strong going on. That's gonna end it for this episode, and I'll catch everyone on the next one. See ya.
Later.
Oh, we have to the pizza.
Oh no.